Hello everyone, my name is Elvina Florencia, and today I would like to present you another topic of management accounting, which is talking about the cost behavior. By the end of this video, I really hope that all of you guys can understand more about the cost behavior, because as you can see, the cost behavior is really important. Whenever you are, wherever you are, when you work in a company or when you start your own business, you will need cost behavior for sure. This has also become a reason why I chose cost behavior as today's topic. The first slide is going to talk about what is cost behavior. Cost behavior is an indicator of how a cost will change in total when there's a change in some activity. Why do we need to learn about the cost behavior? Well, in activity business, there is kind of cost that will fluctuate based on the activity levels. There's also kind of cost that will remain the same no matter how much the production is. In order to make the management understand and know how to control this kind of cost, they need to understand about the cost behavior first. And also, by understanding the cost behavior, the company will have an ability to controlling the cost, estimating the cost, and to making a decision. And then the next one is going to talk about the activity base. The activity base is also well known as cost driver. It's a measure of what causes the incurrence of a variable cost. The question here is, why do we need the activity base? Well, the activity base can be used by the company to categorize whether the cost can be considered as a variable cost or either the fixed cost. There are some examples of activity based which is really familiar for us, such as unit produced, machine hour, direct labor hours, frequency of setup, frequency of order, unit sold, and etc. And then the next one, there are three types of cost behavior. The first one is variable cost, the second one is fixed cost, and then the last one is mixed cost. I'm going to explain about the variable cost and fixed cost first, and then the last I'll proceed to the mixed cost. So what is the difference? Well, variable cost is the cost that fluctuate following the activity levels. As you can see in the slide here, the horizontal line is symbolized as the activity, and the vertical line is symbolized as the cost. The variable cost will have a positive slope. The positive slope means that when the activity level goes up, the cost will become higher, and then the activity goes down, and then the cost will become lower. The example of variable cost here is total raw material use, which is based on how much the production is. There's also another example of variable cost, such as use of electricity, indirect raw material cost, direct labor cost, and etc. Meanwhile, if we are talking about the fixed cost, it means that the cost that remain the same no matter how much the production in the relevant range. As you can see in the slide, the fixed cost will have a horizontal line. The horizontal lines, it means that no matter how much the activity is, the cost will stay in the same position. The example of fixed cost is depreciation expense. Or another example is like abandonment fee of electricity. And then the next one is summary of variable and fixed cost behavior. Some people cannot differentiate between the variable cost in total and variable cost per unit, or either fixed cost in total or fixed cost per unit. So at here, I will explain it all. So please listen carefully. Variable cost in total is proportional to the activity levels. Meanwhile, the variable cost per unit remains the same over the wide range of activity. Fixed cost in total remains the same even when the activity level changes within the relevant range. Meanwhile, the fixed cost per unit goes down as the activity level goes up and goes up as the activity level goes down. And then the next one is, what is mixed cost? Mixed cost is actually a combination between variable cost and fixed cost. The example is sales employees' salary, electricity cost. I'll take the sales employees' fee as the example. Let's say that you are working in the company as a salesperson, and then you'll get a minimum payment of $100, and then the HR manager said that if you can sell 1 unit of product, you'll get $1. And in 1 month, let's say you can sell 50 units of product. It means that you'll get a $50. The $50 here is considered as variable cost. Meanwhile, the $100 minimum payment is considered as a fixed cost. Okay, and then the C point is fixed cost need to allocate into variable cost and fixed cost. Why? The question is why? The answer is to make the estimation of cost become more accurate. There are three methods that you can use: scatter plot, highest and lowest point, this square regression method. And then we'll just skip this one first and then I'll explain later. And then we'll move to the D point, which is talking about the factors that affect the classification of variable cost and fixed cost. There are relevant range. The relevant range is range of activity, which assume that the variable cost and fixed costs are valid. For example, the relevant range of variable cost assumes that there is a linear connection between the variable cost and the activity levels. Meanwhile, the relevant range for fixed cost showing that the fixed cost is remain the same no matter how much the production within the relevant range. Meanwhile, if you're talking about the time horizon, in long-term dimension, all cost is considered as a variable cost due to inflation or economic changes, because that factor will make the cost become unpredictable. Meanwhile, in short-term dimension, a cost can be considered as a variable or fixed cost based on the activity levels. So the first one is scatter plot method. Scatter plot method is a method that can be used to analyze the cost by drawing the graph. Okay, so there are two options. The first one you can draw it manually, and then the second one is you can use the Microsoft Excel application. But I personally really recommend you to use Excel because it way easier. So the first step you need to do is you need to have a data. After that, you just need to simply block from here until here, and then just tap insert and then find the scatter plot graphic, and then voila, you'll get a graphic. And then you just need to draw a line to show that there's a connection between the activity and the cost. And then the next one is highest and lowest point method. So I have a data here, and then we need to find a equation from the highest and lowest point method. So the first step you need to do is find the variable cost. Variable cost is got from delta cost over delta activity. Delta cost is C, or difference between 680 minus with 200. We got 480,000 over the delta activity, which is 400, and then we get the answer 1,200 per hours. And then after that, we'll need to find the fixed cost. How to find? We can take from highest activity or lowest activity. For highest activity cost, we can take from 680,000, and then to find the variable cost, we just need to take the highest activity, which is 500 hours, times with 1,200, and then times it becomes 600,000, and you minus it and you'll get 80,000. And then it will give the same result if you use the lowest activity also. And then the next step is you just need to put the variable and fixed cost into the equation, become like this, and then you get the answer. And then the last one is the least square regression method. This is actually, you can use three options also: manually, SPSS, or Excel. But I prefer to use Excel or SPSS because yeah, it's way easier. But today I just explain by using the Excel. Okay, so the first step you need to do is you need to have a data also, and then after that you tap the function symbol here and search for slope function. The slope function is used to find the variable cost. And then after that, you block the non-y from here until here, and then the non-x from here until here, and then just randomly click OK, and then you get the answer. And then after that, you need to find the intercept function to find the fixed cost. And then after that, you just need to put the fixed and variable cost inside the formula also, and then you'll get the answer directly, instantly and easily. Okay, so that's all for the presentation today. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section below. Thank you for your attention. Bye bye.